Good morning, everyone. This is Brenda Rogers, the Training and Education Manager at Young Living Australasia. And it's my very great pleasure to be talking to you this morning about the truth about energy drinks and looking at some of the alternatives, of course. So, energy drinks have seen a huge rise in popularity over the last decade, and we're now consuming more than double the amount we were 10 years ago. In fact, around a quarter of the beverages sold in Australian convenience stores today are energy drinks. And I think that's a real problem, especially when you notice that it's our teens drinking them and the guys on the work sites, the tradies, and it's a cumulative effect on their health, and we really ought to be concerned about this trend. So let's have a look at what an energy drink is and define it and look at some of the ingredients as well. And then we'll look at some of the research that has been done recently indicating some of the effects of energy drinks on the body, or their ingredients in particular. And then we'll finish off with a look at our Young Living product, Zyng, which is a fantastic energy drink alternative for people who are really wanting to give themselves a lift, but not wanting the downside of many of the energy drinks that are currently available in the stores. So what is an energy drink? It's a type of beverage containing stimulant drugs, chiefly caffeine, which is marketed as providing mental and physical stimulation. Energy drinks are beverages that contain varying amounts of caffeine, and we'll have a look at that in a minute. Also, the amino acid taurine, the herb guarana, which has caffeine in it as well, further amino acids, vitamins, and of course sugar. Energy drinks are promoted as being beneficial in increasing stamina, improving physical endurance, performance, and concentration, something that a lot of people want. So it's an easy lift, an easy pick-me-up. So let's have a look at the ingredients, sort of the active ingredients, if you like, in energy drinks. They are typically a combination of stimulating type ingredients. So caffeine, which is a stimulant that acts on the central nervous system to speed up the messages to and from the brain. So caffeine or caffeine-rich herbs is often the main ingredient in energy drinks. Guarana is an extract from a plant, as I mentioned, that contains about twice the amount of caffeine as coffee beans. Then we have this natural chemical called theobromine, which you find in chocolate, actually, real chocolate anyway. It's from the cacao plant, and it has a similar effect to caffeine and is found in, as I mentioned, chocolate and many other foods. Then we have theophylline, and it's a drug used for the treatment of respiratory diseases and asthma, and is marketed under a variety of brand names. It's structurally similar to caffeine, and it's also naturally found in tea at very small levels. Then we have taurine. Occurs naturally in foods, especially in seafood and meat, and is necessary for normal skeletal muscle function. Then, of course, ginseng. You've probably heard of ginseng. It's one of those energy type herbs, and it's not such a bad thing in the right context. It's a fantastic herb. It's a substance that comes from a variety of plants and is believed to have medicinal properties, but has been found to interact with a number of prescription and herbal drugs. So ginseng is a herb that needs to be treated with respect, as I believe all herbs and all natural medicines and even foods should be treated with respect. So what are the preservatives and artificial colours in energy drinks? Now, I apologise for this slide. It is full of wording, but you will be able to see the huge list of chemicals or additives that are included in energy drinks that we also want to consider, that are a concern for us to, especially for many parents with children being highly reactive to some of these things, those people with compromised immune systems, those who are suffering from illness. All of these things just add to that load in the body, causing all kinds of problems. And you can see here this massive long list of caramel color, for example. Now, caramel sounds like such a lovely word. It kind of evokes images of brown sugar and butter, but this is far from that. It's just a chemical food coloring. And then we have things like gum arabic stabilizers, preservatives, at least 4 or 5 artificial colorings. And then you'll notice on the screen also this emulsifier called brominated vegetable oil. Now, what does that mean and what does that do? Well, I looked it up, and brominated vegetable oil is a vegetable oil derived from corn or soy, and it's bonded with the element bromine. It's added as an emulsifier to prevent the flavoring from separating and floating to the surface. So it means you don't have to shake the can before you drink it. The FDA limits the amount of brominated vegetable oil allowed in fruit-flavored beverages to 15 parts per million. That's very good of them. But why is it used? Well, it's used, as I mentioned, for separating, and so that people don't see their drink kind of half one thing and half the other thing, or get all the flavour right at the beginning. But bromines and these brominated vegetable oils are now known to have some side effects. They are common endocrine disruptors and are part of the halide family, a group of elements that includes also fluorine, chlorine, and iodine. What makes it so dangerous is that it competes for the same receptors that are used to capture iodine. So if you are exposed to a lot of bromine, your body will not hold onto the iodine that it needs. And iodine affects every tissue in your body, not just your thyroid. We have thyroid hormone receptors on every cell in the body. And iodine deficiency causes all kinds of serious consequences. And we're not just thinking about here bromine. If you think about our water containing fluorine and chlorine, and many foods, for example, lettuces are dipped in chlorinated chemicals to prevent them from going, the lettuces in the bags that prevent them to going brown. They use this chlorinated chemical. So here we are with soft drinks, adding another endocrine disruptor, another halide family member to the list of things that interact and compete with iodine. And it's just no wonder that people are getting sick. So let's have a look at the caffeine content of popular energy drinks. As you can see here, Mother is a common one, and that has enormous amounts. In the 500 ml can, there's 160 milligrams of caffeine. Same for Red Bull. It's smaller can, but half the amount of caffeine, so 80 milligrams of caffeine in one can. V energy drinks, 50 milligrams. Even Coca-Cola, 40 to 50 milligrams, and Diet Coca-Cola, also 48 milligrams. So some people have this stuff, not just a can a day, but even a bottle a day, litres, and it's not surprising there's some issues happening. So just for a source of information, if you'd like to investigate this yourself a little bit further, there are obviously government concerns. They are worried. And so you'll find information at the website address that you see there on the top of your page, the Drug Info website, and you'll find the fact sheets there on energy drinks. And I love that title, Energy Drinks, Do They Really Give You Wings? Yes, well, that's a good question. So the regular noted standard list of effects that energy drinks give you are really a consequence of the ingredients. So the short-term effects are feeling more alert and active, needing to urinate more frequently. Obviously, that's an effect of caffeine. Rise in body temperature, increased heart rate, and stimulation of the brain and nervous system. No wonder we like it. That's all sounds pretty good to me. However, in higher doses and in longer term use, then we start to get into some not so nice things. So serious injury or death from caffeine overdose can occur. The Australian Medical Journal has reported an increase in energy drink related reports to the Poisons Information Service in New South Wales, and they assume that this increase would be reflected in national statistics. I think we can safely assume that. So some of these things that are occurring are from the consumption or the excessive consumption of energy drinks: insomnia, nervousness, headaches, nausea, vomiting, rapid heart rate, and heart palpitations. Probably, if you think about it and look at those active constituents, the caffeine and the other stimulating substances, then it wouldn't take a rocket science to work out that there's going to be this sort of overstimulation and then the consequences of that with not being able to sleep and anxiety. We know there's a link between sugar and anxiety. So this is an important ingredient in our diets to really consider and have a look at what the consequences are. So here's some research now just to kind of really set the scene on this. This is about soft drinks and teens. They are a huge market for this drink. And as it says here, unfortunately, according to a 2010 study by the National Cancer Institute, sodas are still the #1 source of calories for teenagers between the ages of 14 and 18. The #1 source of calories. That's a real shocker, that one. And then among adults, sodas and other drinks, other sugary drinks, are the 4th largest source of calories, according to the latest dietary statistics from the US Department of Agriculture, and that's probably something quite similar in Australia. So that could be a quarter of a diet or even a fifth of somebody's diet. The calories are coming from something that has no nutritional value whatsoever and has all these stimulating and nutrient depleting ingredients. So it's like, what are we doing? And then here's a lovely quote by Dr. McCullough. Some of you may be aware of this guy. He's a real activist in the industry in trying to educate us on some of the things that are going on. And he says, there's no doubt that this kind of excessive soda consumption ravages your body and robs you of good health. I believe one of the fastest ways to make a profound change in your health and weight status is to dramatically reduce or eliminate soda from your diet, regardless of which type or brand you drink. And I would concur with that. I have many clients in my practice who are surprisingly just drinking 3 or 4 soft drinks or Diet Cokes or whatever it is per day, and it's not doing anything for their weight or their health. Let's look at energy drink abuse. Energy drink overdose is happening and causing health problems for teens and children. And if you want to see a really graphic illustration of this, there's a few documentaries around at the moment. The Jamie Oliver documentary on sugar, the recent one here in Australia done called That Sugar Film, and some of the others showing this problem in graphic detail because they are interviewing dentists who are really cringing at the problems at the moment. While the problem seems to be hyped up by the media, we still should make efforts to educate and warn teens about the potential dangers of energy drinks. And the highest number of energy drink overdose reports occurred with children aged 5 or under. These are US statistics. So more research, the Journal of Pediatrics, who studied caffeine overdose reports from 2007, concluded the following. Energy drinks have no therapeutic benefit, and many ingredients are understudied or not regulated. The known and unknown pharmacology of agents included in such drinks, combined with reports of toxicity, raises concern for potentially serious adverse effects in association with energy drink use. So that's the Kids Journal, Kids Health Journal, and they're stating that. Energy drink abuse can cause heart problems, as you could imagine, with all that stimulating going on. And the Canadian Journal of Cardiology reports a comprehensive study that looked at the incidences of cardiac events after energy drink consumption among teens. This is not even 50-year-olds who are probably in the risk category. They found that energy drink abuse among teens did cause increased risk of cardiac events, especially in those with underlying heart conditions. And there were even some cases of energy drinks causing changes in heart rhythm among teens with healthy hearts. This risk increases when the child engages in sports or exercise. So let's have a look at energy drinks and sports, because this is where sometimes they're really pushed. I remember a few years ago when I was doing group beach swims, at the end of the training session, there'd be a big tub of some kind of power drink, and we were expected to drink it. And I thought, where does this come from? Who's paying for this? But it was all sponsored. So since 2009, there have been some reported cases of death related to energy drink and shot consumption, and the subject is still receiving a lot of media attention. Recently, a survey conducted in Australia showed that teen athletes are abusing energy drinks and no-dos to help them compete better at sporting events. Recommendations for the safe use of energy drinks among this age group: if you're wanting to teach those around you the responsible use of energy drinks, obviously none is the best, but if people are going to drink them, and teens certainly will and do, then the idea is to not consume more than 1 can of an energy drink per day. Avoid energy drink consumption before or during sports practice. Individuals with diagnosed cardiovascular anomalies should consult their cardiologist before drinking energy drinks. Do not combine energy drink consumption with alcohol or other drugs. And if you think about it, even having additional coffee, chocolate, and other sources of sugar and caffeine is going to enhance that load or increase that load on their bodies. Parents should be taught potential adverse effects related to energy drink consumption, so signs to look out for, and parents and schools should provide continual advice against overconsumption and abuse of energy drinks. These are some of the recommendations that have been made, and I think that's a really good strategy to get parents and schools aware themselves and then able to teach the kids what to look out for before something tragic happens. Now let's have a look at energy drink use related to depression and substance abuse in teens. A recent study conducted by the University of Waterloo and Dalhousie University in Canada found that teens who consume energy drinks are also more at risk for developing depression, something that they're predisposed to and prone to as adolescents already. They're more at risk of developing depression and substance abuse than teens who never drink energy drinks. So researchers used the results of an 8,210 participant study to come to their conclusions, but it is unclear whether energy drinks are causing more depression and substance abuse, or those prone to depression and substance abuse also choose energy drinks as a coping device. Personally, I'd say that's a bit of both. Energy drinks and addiction. A more recent study published in the Neuropsychopharmacology Journal found that teens that consume caffeine are more inclined to be addicted to drugs like cocaine as adults. Just to explain a little bit further, the University of Colorado, the researchers there discovered that when caffeine is consumed by those with developing brains, our children and our teens, it permanently alters brain chemistry, causing those individuals to receive more pleasure from cocaine than one otherwise would. Now, that's just one consequence of a permanently altered brain chemistry. Who knows whatever else is happening at the same time? Hyperactivity in teens, as if they need any extra. A study published by Academic Pediatrics reported that energy drinks and sugary beverages are linked to hyperactive behaviour in teens and children. The study authors reported the following results. Students reporting consumption of energy drinks were 66% more likely to be at risk for hyperactivity, inattention, after adjusting for the number of drinks other drinks consumed and other potential confounders. So that means that they ruling out all of these other things, the effect of just having energy drinks on their bodies was this 66% more likelihood of hyperactivity and inattention. While this was a small self-reporting study, it does warrant more research, and it's very concerning because of the link there between hyperactivity, inattention, and then the ability for that teen to learn, to stick at a job, to avoid perhaps hanging out in the wrong crowd, perhaps even doing something that they wouldn't normally do. These are things that we really want to prevent our teens from getting into trouble with. It is our job and our duty as a culture to take care of our children, and parents feel very strongly about that, obviously. But when it comes to the influence of large corporations, the advertising, the coolness of energy drinks, we've got a really uphill battle. So, it's no wonder people are throwing up their hands and saying, well, what can I do? What can I possibly do? So let's have a quick look at some of the things you can potentially do. First of all, we must remember this. Young people will always tend to do and consume things that aren't good for them. And this will continue far after energy drinks are yesterday's news, and history shows us that villainising a product usually only makes kids to want it more. So perhaps teaching responsibility may be better than regulation. So this is telling people not to do something, or even saying, well, don't do that because it's bad for your health, isn't going to change anything. We need to get a lot cleverer about it than that. So how do we do that? Basically, it's a lot harder than it sounds. Teaching responsibility is probably something you've been trying to do with your kids your whole life. However, Dennis Waitley, the author and coach and amazing personal development trainer, he says a sign of wisdom and maturity is when you come to terms with the realization that your decisions cause your rewards and consequences. You are responsible for your life, and your ultimate success depends on the choices that you make. Now, we know that, but how do we teach that to others? This is the challenge that we have, but it's a better challenge than trying to force somebody to stop doing what they're doing because it's not healthy for them. That's never going to work. At least we have a chance with teaching this kind of thing. Dr. McCullough, once again, he says education is the key, and he says, I still think education is a better tool than legislation or regulation. Parents and teens need to be informed and educated about using caffeine responsibly in any form, whether it be energy drinks, coffee, or caffeine supplements. Having said that, I do believe that as concerned parents and concerned community members, we do need to stand up and let governments and other bodies know that the food companies and the companies that are selling these beverages do need to be accountable for what they're doing. So perhaps a further regulation in that regard would be is a really great idea. What else is there? Well, I'm glad you asked. We have in our beautiful range the NingXia Zyng, this refreshing, sparkling beverage. And it's absolutely wonderful on its own. It's wonderful in the NingXia Red juice that we have. It's lovely with ice. It's lovely, partly frozen into a bit of a slushy. There's lots of things that we can, apply this with, basically. So what is it? It's a light, sparkling beverage that delivers a splash of hydrating energy. It's fueled by a proprietary blend of pure black pepper and lime essential oils, wolfberry puree, and white tea extract. So it has a little bit of that gentle caffeine in it. combined with a blend of vitamins and sparkling water to create a unique, delicious and refreshing experience. It has only 35 calories per can, so for the weight conscious, that's a really huge selling point. It's a guilt-free infusion which invigorates the senses without the use of artificial flavors, sweeteners, or preservatives. So who should drink Zyng? Well, maybe your 18-year-old teen who's out with his mates all the time isn't going to be interested in Zyng. But your health-conscious teens, particularly perhaps the weight-conscious girls, are much more likely to be interested in this. Sporty mums particularly, it's fantastic for them. People on night shift who want a gentle pick-me-up. Many people on night shift abuse caffeine in order to be able to stay awake and stay alert. But it's not till years later and the consequences have caught up with them that they realise that they've made a mistake. So educating people on night shift or with funny hours is of the consequences, and therefore the alternatives is a great strategy. Now, for family celebrations, especially when it's mixed with the NingXia that I mentioned, it's a lovely drink on a celebration table. It's very refreshing in summer. So the benefits, it's a great option when you're looking for a little zing, a little bit of a pick-me-up. Its primary benefits are that it hydrates and it gives you energy. It's preservative-free and it has none of those nasty artificial colours and flavours. So individuals interested in a light, sparkling, refreshing beverage are the type of people who are going to be interested in using Zyng. It's best served chilled. It is very refreshing. Just because it doesn't have that brominated vegetable oil or any of those nasties in it, it is a good idea to tilt the can a couple of times before you open it and pour it out. And it does contain some natural gentle caffeine from the tea plant. So it is meant to be, I would say, for teens only. Kids under 12, I'm not sure that I would recommend caffeine of any type for kids at that age. Here's the list of full ingredients, which you have there up on your screen. Some key ones are the blackberry juice concentrate, some black pepper fruit oil and the lime oil. These are our beautiful essential oils, and also some vitamin E and vitamin A. So if you want more information on those constituents and the full list of ingredients, then you can pop along to the website and find more information. All right, let's summarize. Are energy drinks really that bad? Experts don't recommend the beverages, but concur most adults can handle up to one a day. So that's really the best advice. Is the best thing to do is to avoid energy drinks and soft drinks and sugary drinks, even juices, which are full of sugar, altogether, and consume water. Your body needs pure, clean water in order to function optimally. However, in the real world, we do like a treat occasionally. We do need a pick-me-up occasionally. And people still do things daily when perhaps they shouldn't. So when we can educate them and offer them an alternative that isn't going to have serious health consequences, then we should do that. And that education is a wonderful part of the role of being part of Young Living and sharing the benefits of the essential oils and the oil-infused products. Thanks very much, everyone.
That's all for today. Thank you for being with us. Please join us again next time for more essential oil wisdom. If you'd like to find out more information about Young Living, there are many resources available to you on the Young Living website, www.youngliving.com.au, or alternatively, speak to the person who introduced you to Young Living to find out more. To listen to other Young Living recordings and webinars, please go to your virtual office.